All right, guys. Jesse, great to see you. How you doing, sir?
It's a beautiful day. Good to see you too, bud. I'm great.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm glad everybody here joined. And today we're going to talk about mindset, which is probably the most important thing that we have to maintain. If you want to be a real estate agent and you want to sell properties at a high level, you're going to deal with a lot of people, a lot of emotions. You're going to deal with a lot of different personalities. You're going to get a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages. You're going to have to interact with many different people, vendors, etc. And anytime you're dealing with people, there's going to be some ups and downs and a lot of emotions involved. So one of the things that I learned early on was that my job as a real estate agent, Jesse, I think you'll agree, is to take the emotion out of the transaction as much as possible.
100%. You got 28 people on average in a transaction. There's a lot of emotions going around.
Yeah. So there's, if you're working with a lot of clients, you're going to have so many different personalities. And, once they're a client, you don't necessarily want to mirror and match everything they're saying. You want to be the voice of reason and, calm them down if there's an emotional issue and just let them know that, hey, this is common, or you've been through this before as far as anything that happens in the transaction. We're going to handle it. We're going to work through it. And the most important thing is you always have to tell them the truth. Even if something goes really bad and you don't want to report the truth, the sooner you get that out there and try to overcome the issue and let them know what's going on, the better off you're going to be. Let me just make sure I got it. So,
Terrence, 2020.
All right. Was that you, Jesse?
No.
All right.
I wish it was a seller lead. That would be good.
Oh, it would be, wouldn't it? All right. Let me look at the participants. Just make sure I get everybody muted here. We got 7 people here. That's great. Okay, Ed. I'm going to mute Ed. Okay. So what I learned, you're going to run into this type of scenario with clients. You're going to run into this with on a daily basis as a real estate agent. So the best way to, the best defense against this is to have a very strong mindset. First of all, I just have to realize it and say, to myself, there's going to be ups and downs. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. So the more study I say in my mindset, the more level-headed that I stay during these conversations, and the stronger that I keep my positive energy and positive mindset, the better off I'm going to be, the better outlook I'm going to have, the better life I'm going to live. So what do I do, or what have I learned, to keep my mindset strong? The number one thing that I've learned through coaching is, Jesse, you know all about this, turn off the news. Especially nowadays. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Man, I slipped, and I read about 20 headlines the other day, and I was depressed. People were dying. People were getting coronavirus. Stock market. I was like, whoa, turn that off.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, it happens, man. And especially with social media, you're going to run into stuff. You're going to see some of the news. I have consciously tried to back off social media a little bit recently. I'm on social media a lot because I use it for agent attraction, and hey, it is what it is. But I've consciously tried to back off the amount of time I spend on there, and it makes an impact. It really helps my mindset to stay away from all that stuff. And even the radio, man, I was listening to the radio on the way into work. I have a 5-minute drive. And on the way in, I heard there's, X number of people were killed in Chicago last night. And, I'm like, God, man, it's like, that's unfortunate. And, my heart goes out to all the people that, have to experience that or had somebody killed. But you know what? I can't listen to that stuff all the time. I can't dwell on that. It's going to happen whether or not I'm listening to the radio or not. So I might as well listen to music. It doesn't mean that I have my eyes closed to what's going on in society. It just means that I don't want to pollute my mind with negativity, especially on the way into work. I mean, that's when I want to be the sharpest, when I first get into work and start making my phone calls. Right, Jesse?
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, guys, if there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, if you want to do something about it, the more money we earn, the more we can do about it. We can donate to causes. You know, I'm really passionate about like this human trafficking organization, and I donate money to them. I buy their shirts and their hats and stuff. Like, I give money to them because that's how you can make a difference in a positive way around the world and not have to even hear about all the garbage. So,
yeah, the best way to help the poor is not to become one. I've heard that one before. You know, I mean, you got to work hard. You got to work hard. So I turn off the news. I did not have the news on today. I had a radio station on, and they just happened to throw that out there. But that's the number one destroyer of a positive mindset, watching the news. Eating healthy. This is important. I notice a major effect on my mindset if I eat healthy, or if I have a lot of sugar. It affects me negatively because, you know, the ups and downs. So I try to stay away from sugar. I try to not overeat during the day. Like, I try not to eat huge meals. I try to eat as healthy as possible every single day, even on the weekends. I mean, obviously we're human and we live in America, so there's so many different bad choices out there, but there's also a lot of healthy choices, you know? So I try to eat as healthy as I possibly can every day.
you know what, on this topic, Steve, because eating healthy and turning off the news kind of goes together, believe it or not. And we have a section in the book I think you guys should revisit. It's about minding your inputs. Like, what are you putting in? Like, putting in garbage, I mean, if you got a toxic relationship, like, you need to monitor that. That's input. That's negative. That affects your mind. Listening to the news, that's a negative input. Just watching garbage online and on TV, like, that's all garbage. Like, if you're feeding on all that, it's going to mess you up. So mind your inputs. That's like the takeaway of point 1 and 2, I think, is what are you inputting inside of yourself?
Yeah, it might feel good at the moment. It might feel good when you're doing it, but you got to remember, this is like, you know, you're building up all this negativity, and eventually it's going to hit you, and then you're into bad habits, and it gets even worse. So eat healthy, exercise on a regular basis. I have to do that as well. That makes a huge difference in my daily mindset. I can tell a big difference if I don't work out for a few days. And I feel great after I work out. So eating healthy and exercise is huge. Getting enough sleep, that's a big one. You know, I have to, believe me, guys, I have to work hard at all these. I'm not a robot. I'm not super disciplined by any means, but I have learned through repetition and through, you know, coaches, mentors, mastermind groups, having people around me that do the same thing, how to, you know, I've gotten to habits of doing these things in a positive manner 75% of the time. And it makes a world of difference financially. You know, when I started doing all these things, it changed my financial outlook. It changed my mindset. It changed my integrity. Everything in my life changed when I started to do these things consistently. So getting to work and starting, you know, whether you're in an office or at your house, getting to the office or getting to your desk, starting to work the same time every day. And, you know, for me, that's 7:45 and on the phone before 8 o'clock. And then following a business plan. These are, you know, these are all just basic things that we talk about in the book, but whether or not you believe it or think so or not, all these things add up to kind of like, not only like insurance for your mindset, but fuel for your positive mindset. It's like all these little things add up exponentially if they're done consistently. And guys, Monday through Friday, you know, you don't have to kill yourself and do it every single day, but Monday through Friday, you have to be on this as much as possible, and limit the insanity on the weekends if you can. So following a business plan, what does that mean? That means I know what my goal is for the year or for the month or for the quarter. I know exactly what those goals are. I have a business plan or a set strategy to achieve those goals. And for me, that's making an X number of contacts or calling X number of people that may buy or sell. And following that every day is a massive, massive piece of the puzzle for mindset, because it gives me not only brings more money in. It not only gives, helps my self-integrity with following through and doing something I said I was going to do. It helps me get things done in a timely manner and helps open up. The more disciplined that I am, the more freedom that I have. And that is so true. Wouldn't you agree, Jesse? I mean, that's one of those things you hear and you're like, what? But
Right.
the more disciplined I am about my schedule, I mean, I can literally get into work and be done with my business plan and work by 11 o'clock every single day if I wanted to.
There's a great book by Jocko Willing called Discipline Equals Freedom. You want freedom, you want to enjoy the life of your dreams, you want freedom in your relationships and business and money and health, be disciplined and you'll get freedom. It's amazing.
He also wrote Extreme Ownership, right?
Extreme Ownership.
I've read that one.
Discipline. That's why we're talking about this. We all need to work on this. We're human beings, so we need to be reminded and refreshed and reconnected to these principles.
Yeah. And another thing is if you get off schedule or you have a bad day, don't beat yourself up. You just get back on the horse the next day or as soon as possible. It happens. And to keep the mindset strong, guys, I know there's a lot of newer agents on the call and in this group. Rome was not built in a day, man. I mean, it takes time. If you're in your first year or two of being a realtor and you're not closing or getting as many deals done as you had set forward or forth to do, don't beat yourself up and compare yourself to other people on social media or me or Jesse, anybody. Yeah. It is going to take time. It is going to take time.
I don't know if you remember, Steve, like I remember sitting in some of the conferences we've been to over the last, 7-8 years and seeing the guy on stage that's being interviewed, that's doing $1 million, $2 million in GCI and thinking, man, that guy's like a robot. How do you do it? And then they would ask the question, like, how much of the time are you doing everything you're supposed to be doing? And none of them, never did anybody say 90%, never did anybody say 80%, never did anybody say 100%. A lot of them was like 40%, 50%, 30%. A lot of them are like, but they're consistent. They're doing what they're supposed to do, but they're doing it a chunk of time. If you just commit to like doing this 45, 50%, you're going to be like leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
Guys, this book, this blueprint, and this coaching that we're giving you, it's a $500,000 GCI plus per year blueprint if you follow it 75%. If you say, hey Steve, I want to make 500K in the next 12 months. If you're in your first or second year, might not be realistic. You might need to set it at 200 or 150. But if you said that to me and you said, I want the you cannot fail blueprint or the can't fail strategy to do that, this is it. And I could sit down with you and show you exactly what you would have to do to achieve X or Y or Z or whatever your goal is. It is right here. This is not magic. This is working hard. And this is like giving you all the little shortcuts. Look at this as a fishing guide.
Yeah.
You went out to Lake Michigan or any lake and you just start fishing and, you don't know what bait to use or where to fish in the lake. You're probably not going to catch a whole lot of fish, but look at us as a fishing guide that has already caught a lot of fish, understands exactly what bait to use, what time of day, what time of year to go fishing, where to go in the lake, and you're going to have an exponential better results from that. All right. Yeah. So mindset is big. Steve, how can we maintain a positive mindset with everything going on and maintain a normal schedule and do all these things you're talking about? The market is going to suffer. Sales will suffer. This sucks.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, how many people have been in that, were in that mindset over the last 2 or 3 months at one point or another?
Oh yeah. On a regular basis.
Yeah, I was there. I've been there. I get there every once in a while. When do I get there? When I start focusing on the media and the news instead of focusing on what my goals are and follow my business plan. That's it. If I'm locked into my business plan and locked into what I'm supposed to do every day and get it done, this is the greatest market we've ever been in. And I don't know about you guys, but I did happen to see some numbers shot up today. The existing home sales were up like 28% from last month. It's very, very, very good. So people are out buying. 35% of those sales were new buyers, new home buyers. So there's a lot of new buyers in the market, and that's probably going to continue, especially with rates being at a ridiculously low rate right now, under 3%, well under 3%, which I've never seen it before.
It's crazy.
So there's a lot of people in the market buying. There's not as many sellers out there, which is good and bad. But there's business out there. And if you guys are struggling, you know, open houses are el numero uno, the #1 place to get business right now.
And look in different areas. I don't know what it's like over where you guys are at, but where I'm at, like for example, in Oakland, properties are not selling. Like they're sitting on the market. Time on the market is up 60%, all that kind of stuff. So guess what? I can focus on a different city. I can focus on a different neighborhood. I can look where is the most activity right now and put your efforts there.
Absolutely. And that's how it is around here too. There's certain areas that are really good, certain price points that are really good, and others that aren't moving at all. And that's an opportunity to focus in on where you're going to prospect or do open houses. So that's a great point, Jesse. And these are some old numbers. This is from a presentation I did a while back when we first had the COVID thing. But if you look at this, man, you know, what's happened? What did we say was going to happen, or they said was going to happen over the next several months? Was the market going to crash like it did in 2008-9? They said no, because here's why. One of the reasons: annual home prices. Here's the appreciation when we had the big bubble. Here's the appreciation like 5 years before the bubble. Here's the last 5 years before this COVID thing. Appreciation has been more in line with normal activity than it was back in the day. So we don't expect to, you know, the higher it goes up, the quicker and the lower it can go down. And, you know, we didn't see a massive, ridiculous appreciation situation like we did back in the housing crash. Today, inventory is still low. I bet it's even lower than it is on this slide, 3.1. Let's see, total home equity cashed out. Not a lot of people are cashing out their equity like they were back in the crash. It takes less money to buy a medium priced home. And this was the last recession. I think we're in a recession, are we, Jesse? I don't even know.
Technically we are, yeah.
Technically we are, and you can see what happened to home prices over the last 5 recessions. 1980, home prices went up 6.1%. 81, they went up 3.5. 91, they were down 1.9%. 2001, up 6.6. And then 2008, the big crash, they were down 20%. But we're probably going to see somewhere between 2% down and 6% up. So that's pretty normal, and that's a pretty positive sign, and it's already starting to look that way. It could all change overnight, guys. Look at 2008, but so far so good. I think we're going to be okay. And if people, you know, we were going to talk a little bit about, let me just look on this here. All right, we can go to our beautiful faces now, Jesse. Stop share. Jesse, I think we're going to talk about a little bit about some objection handlers as well with this mindset stuff.
In fact, one last thing I wanted to say is that that we talk about also in the book is proximity is power. Like staying connected to the right group of people, the right mindset of people, forward-thinking, growth-minded, success-minded people, people that want to do better, people that want to improve, people that are not complacent and waiting for the world to change for them. Stay connected to those kind of people. If it's Facebook groups, if it's this group, wherever that is, stay connected to that kind of close proximity to those kind of people, and that will strengthen your mindset.
Absolutely. And for anybody on this call that says, you know, I get people asking once in a while, well, how can I surround myself with other people? And, you know, are there any, you know, how can I do role play, or how can I get into a mastermind group, or how can I have accountability? All of those resources are in the WhatsApp. If you're not part of the mastermind WhatsApp, which is not something that Jesse and I we're not in charge of that. Yes, we are, but we aren't. Like we're members of that. It's everybody that's basically in my partner group here at EXP that's involved with it. And there's every aspect or every realm of the spectrum, newer agents all the way up to agents doing over $1 million a year GCI are in that WhatsApp group. And there's several different things that we do. I'm doing a 1 hour agent attraction prospecting group every day from 12 to 1. I'm on a Zoom call calling 10 agents a day. So if anybody wants to join that, you got my email address, email me and say, Steve, I'd like to join the agent attraction Zoom group. And I'm there every single day, 12 to 1, making my calls. You can sit there and watch me call. And, so sometimes I'll maybe have the volume on, or sometimes I won't. There's like 3 or 4 people that do that every day. So there you go for that. And if you need people to call, I can give you a list of, I would suggest first calling agents that you've worked with on the other side of deals. And I've got the videos, you can send them and all that. So all the tools are here, guys. We're just here to guide you in the right direction. And also, Jesse, give them the information about the website too, where everything's at again.
StreamAgentsVIP.com. And we have added some more stuff, I think, in the last 2 weeks. So if you haven't been on there in a while, we've added some more stuff. You should be able to access that on Extreme. That's Extreme, extremeagentsvip.com. So I think we should open up. Is there any objections that anybody is getting right now? I know we've addressed some in the last, couple of months about COVID, or, hey, how do we meet you? Like, can we meet in person or not? We're not supposed to. And is anybody getting objections right now when you're talking to people, existing clients, prospects on the phone? And you can unmute yourself if you want to chat about any objections you guys are getting.
You can type it into the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak up.
Anybody?
So again, is anybody getting any objections? So nobody's having any issues with any objections. That would be, for example, somebody, I call expires and canceled, and they're like, I don't want to have anybody come through my house because of this. I don't want people coming in every day through my house because of this COVID thing. That's one that comes up. And I say, yeah, I wouldn't want a lot of people coming through my house either with this COVID thing. I can appreciate what's going on. And I was just curious, what's your time frame for wanting to get your house sold and move? And then you ask them a question, and why is, the next 3 months, why is moving in the next 3 months important to you? And the more questions you ask them, you're going to find out exactly what their motivation is. And you're going to find out how serious they are as far as wanting or needing to sell. And then you can address the objection of, I don't want a lot of people coming through my house. I would ask them those other questions first, and then come back to the objection and say, I can appreciate all those, all the reasons why you don't want to put the house on the market. But if you were able to get the house sold without having an extreme number of people coming in and out at different times, and it was we made it a safe environment, and you were able to get a price that made sense for you, would you want to get moved here in the next 60 days as opposed to waiting 6 months and gambling on where the market's going to be? They're going to say yes. So here's what we have done. Here's what we're doing. There's a couple different options that we can give you as far as getting your house on the market and getting activity and getting it sold without having a lot of traffic through the house. And one of those is to only allow showings during a certain window of time, 1 day a week. What this will allow you to do is prepare the house beforehand and leave and have all the closets open. We could have gloves there. We could have masks for people and instruct them that they're not to be touching everything, that everything is open. Let them go through the house. And once all those people go through, then you could, have somebody go through there and clean the house if they're that extreme. But you can limit it to 1 day a week. You can limit it to 2 days a week. You can do a lot of different things to mitigate the number of people going through the house, but you have to let your prospects know we are seeing because there is a lot of people that are concerned about putting their house in the market. There's very, very unprecedented low inventory, very few homes to choose from. Rates are at an extremely historically low rate right now. And we just saw existing home sales surge to one of the highest levels they've ever been this last month. So the market's hot. And I'm sure you could agree that we don't know if the market's going to be hot 6 months from now.
Right.
We really don't know. It could be bad. So, what happens if, the elections don't go favorably or whatever? So all that being said, would you rather wait and gamble with all of the hard-earned equity that you have in your house, knowing that this may be the highest point or the highest value of your house that it has been in the last 10 years or will be in the near future? Did you want to gamble with that, or did you want to get your house sold and take that equity and move to Florida?
There you go. And guys, I just shared this little, this is one of the most powerful objection handling and closing formulas that Steve and I learned in our coaching. Very simple. You can apply it to anything that anybody says. You turn it right back around, ask them a question, listen for the response, repeat and affirm. You heard every time Steve just mentioned something, he said, I can understand what you're saying. I appreciate that. I completely know where you're coming from. You're affirming them. You're validating that they have a concern or a question. And then you say, well, that's exactly why we should actually meet on a Zoom or whenever. You want to get them excited about connecting with you, right? Hiring you or meeting with you.
Because you have a solution.
Yeah, I have the solution. So, hey, that's why people like you actually like to hire me. We can actually do X, Y, Z. We can actually help you do boom, boom, boom. And then you tie down close. Number 6, isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you need? Isn't that what you're hoping for? Isn't that what's best for your family? You're tying them down. You say, hey, I'm the solution, exactly what you just said. Isn't that what you want? All we need to now is simply get together either on Zoom or in person at a coffee shop, and we can get you to Florida. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, bam. So I shared that with you guys in the chat. A very simple, but you can use it for anything anybody says. Doesn't matter what their objection is. Bam. Ed's saying that it's kind of like the mental aspect of debt for sellers and a peace of mind for buyers. He's getting more calls.
Yeah. And
yeah, go ahead. Reassuring people.
Yeah. And really, you just have to look at those numbers and see that existing home sales were up 29% since last month. So people are not really waiting anymore. They're out on the market, selling, buying. It's happening right now. We're basically in the peak part of the market because this is, kind of our spring right now. So if you guys are struggling, a couple things I would do right now. If you're listening to me going, yeah, Steve, you're in the business for 10 years and blah, blah, blah. It's easy for you. Screw that, man. Screw that. Here's what I would do. Cause I got to start at zero every single day. If I don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. Okay. I work to make this happen. I don't just sit here and do nothing. So what I would do if you're having problems or struggling right now is, number 1, I would go through every single lead that you have that you've talked to since you've been in business or done business with, and call every one of them. There's probably, even if you're brand new, you've probably talked to 25 people. Go through and talk to every one of them again. Let them know that, oh my goodness, the market has absolutely exploded. The existing home sales were off the charts. They just were announced today. Are you still looking to buy or sell? If they're a buyer, you have to, start off with, existing home sales just exploded. And have you seen the rates in the last couple of weeks?
Mortgage Bankers Association said that applications for mortgages are up 19% from last year this time.
That's crazy.
That big old drop was the coronavirus shutdown. And guess what? It's right back up and above what it was last year. So people are
Yeah.
out.
And I talked to Eric Hamilton last week, and he said that what the activity that they're seeing, this is going to last for a little while. So the market should be good for the next year or two, hopefully. There's a lot of buyers coming into the market with rates so low, and we got to take advantage of that. So what I would do is call all of my leads that I have, touch base with them, let them know what's going on in the market, let them know that you're ready for them to put you to work. I would call my database, touch base with them and say, hey, John, I just want to see how you're doing with everything that's, been going on in the society here. And if there was anything I could help you with, any real estate needs that you might have. And they're going to be happy to hear from you. Your database, past clients, sphere of influence, call them and just touch base and see how they're doing. See if they've been able to get out and do anything for this summer yet or not.
So much has changed for people in the last 6 months. Like people that were comfortable in the size of the home they were in are no longer comfortable because they got kids. They now do homeschooling. So they're like, well, we need to move out far away. So they got to move. People that can now work remote, they're like, well, why don't I get a little bigger house so I can actually just work from home? Boom. They need to move.
Nice.
Like there's a lot of people that scenarios in life and the world has changed their decision on where they're going to live and how they're going to live. It's a time to talk to those people.
Yeah, people are taking a seriously close look at their living situation because of all this. Absolutely. And another thing you could do is reach out to a couple of lenders that you work with or don't work with, and just say, hey, I'm a buyer's agent exclusively, or whatever you want to say. I'm looking for leads. I'm hungry. I'm working with a few people right now, but I'd like to add about 10 more deals to my resume. Who are you working with that we can help? Is there somebody that we could help you show some houses to today? Call them every day until they give you some business. Call some of the real busy people that you see online or something.
And keep adding value. I know Jim's sending people messages on his KV core. Just keep building that list of people. Get it from 100 people to 200 people, 300 people. Stay in contact.
And again, the most important thing is keep your mindset strong. Have a business plan and follow it. Listen, guys, if you're saying, man, I don't want to talk to Steve because I didn't really, the last 2 times we met, I didn't really follow through with the business plan. I don't care, guys. If you are serious and you want to set up a new business plan or look at where you're at year to date, reach out to me and Jesse. We'll get on a one-on-one call with you and go over everything and see if we can help you get back on track. We all go through this and we're here to help. So are there any other questions before we wrap up here?
You guys download that file before we shut off here. The closing and objection.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right.
All right. No other questions. We'll wrap it up here and we will see you next week. As always, reach out to either one of us and we're here to help. Jesse,
Bam.
Have a great day.
Bam.
Boom.